What if I told you that the perfect isekai is about a guy jerking himself off mentally for 2 seasons? Will you believe me? Well, I'm going to prove it to you. I'm also going to tell you the reason why, if you start watching this show, you won't be able to stop. But we have to lay the groundwork first by understanding what makes following a virgin who got steamrolled by a truck and sent to a world of big booby elves that entertaining to begin with. We human beings end up repeating our same routines for the majority of our lives. Regardless if you're working hard on the goals you set or you are selling your existence to the gacha gods. It's true for all of us, which is not a bad thing. But we are given the chance to momentarily break free and get lost in a world magical in nature. One that is outside the reaches of reality. And you get to experience it through the eyes of a character that was designed specifically for you to relate with. Isekai is a timeout, away from all of your responsibilities and problems. Just like drugs, but more damaging. There's a catch though. If the protagonist is way too powerful and has all the girls from the start for no apparent reason, you'll get disinterested and drop the anime. If we take a line to measure the lives of isekai MCs, we would make it go from the unluckiest of existence all the way to people who hacked life. And this is how it would look like. Authors try their best to find the sweet spot and create their hero while abiding by this golden ratio. Except this man said fuck it. He threw common sense out the window and in a moment of madness or sheer genius, depending on who you ask, made this guy all the way here. And this dude is Sid from Eminence in Shadow. And he breaks all the rules. He's a walking nuke, a civilization-ending threat that no one can oppose. He doesn't have a harem but an army of bitches that obey his every command. So without an enemy to oppose him or a struggle to face, how can you keep watching this show without it getting boring quickly? Well, the answer is found in a dream that you probably had. I'm talking about the one in which your school gets attacked by a bunch of bad guys and you end up beating them up, saving the day and getting awarded a Medal of Honor. Or those times when you imagined becoming a crime-fighting vigilante as a kid. Well, Sid was the same, but unlike most normal people, he didn't let that fantasy die. Going as far as to train in all sorts of martial arts and beat the ever-living shit out of criminals with a crowbar. Basically this guy. But no matter what he did, a bullet to the head was enough to end him. He couldn't overcome the limitations of his humanity. Until... now with the power of plot, he's able to pursue his dreams. And it's those same dreams that make him differ from all the other isekai protagonists out there. He wants to f around. Sid is a role-playing fanatic. One time he entered a fighting tournament to show off all the 259 different ways he can roll over and spit blood, never missing a chance to look like a little bitch in his daily life. While at night he's Shadow, one of the most powerful men in the whole world, leader of an underground organization and the edgiest of edgelords. These two drastically different alter egos were caused by the same thing that made him do a research about what the weakest man on the planet would look like and then have a plastic surgery to turn into him. Or why he holds back while fighting to make it seem like his opponent is his equal. And it's because he thinks it's cool. Sid makes up scenarios in his own head and goes to the extreme to enact them, while coming up with the most nonsensical explanations to get the people around him on board. Like the time a woman saved him from vampires and warned him about how this could be the end of the world. But the only thing he could think of was how badass the words she said sounded. So he stole that shit. He went around town for the whole night, killing vampires while repeating the same 4 lines. And people genuinely believed he was being a hero. He thinks everyone is playing along with his acting, but in reality, they all believe he is that guy. Which he is, but he's also just a big nerd that is geeking out. 58% of the time he's just talking out of his ass. But somehow he is right and everything turns out the way he wants it to be. Him being this overpowered would have been a problem in most other cases, but Sid's desire to roleplay his childhood characters makes it work. Take these latest episodes for example, in which he turns on his own people, creates a new identity, and joins a smaller crime organization with the aim of crushing his own, all because he wants to be
super elite agent.
Seeing just how ridiculous the next situation Sid will get himself in will be, and how he comes out of it, is why we keep watching. But how could this possibly be enough to call this the perfect isekai? Well, it all comes down to what an isekai is at its core. There are other anime with more intricate characters who struggle against their own weakness and the challenges they go up against. Or ones with better storylines that delve into real-life issues like anxiety and self-purpose. Eminence in Shadow and Sid have nothing like that. The only challenge for Sid is to try and turn his fantasies into a reality, regardless of how unnecessary, childish, or useless they sound. Great personal journeys could be found anywhere. But what Sid wants to do can only be done where he's at right now, in another world. And giving the viewer the opportunity to experience these fantasies they themselves might have had before, away from anything that can remind them of the struggle of their current lives, is what makes this show the greatest escape. But if you want to watch an anime that will wreck your feelings instead, then this next video will help you. Watch it if you want, and until next time, stay safe.